Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's working late tonight, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Almost the weekend. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope everybody's safe. It is a nice day today here in scenic northeastern Pennsylvania. I hope everyone's taking care of each other, look after yourselves, follow public health protocols in your region. And that's pretty much it. That's the PSA from SSAM for today. So, we are going to follow up this week with Cynthia Beaumont. For anyone who's not familiar with the series we're doing, began following. Well, I've been following this channel for years as a viewer, but within the last, I want to say 8 months now, 6 to 8 months, we've been following this channel. I have been following the channel. Mark weighs in periodically. He was here last week. Thank you, everyone. He loved doing it. The feedback was great. On this channel, as it's changed from where it was Cynthia and Thomas Beaumont, Cynthia being pretty much the creator, and it was the two of them, and then her husband, Tommy, got very sick relatively suddenly. She was his caretaker. People had some concerns about the care she was providing, to put it mildly, and he passed away. Now, she's the only person on the channel, and the content has been switched up a lot. There's been drama ever since he got sick, but now drama after the fact for a number of different reasons. She's tried everything from Richard Simmons to mukbangs to arts and crafts to mask shaming to race baiting to all over the place, crying over Macy's, everything. So this week is kind of more of the same. Now the difference is I'm gonna need these off and on, and I'm dealing with glare. I found myself this week, there was about 15 videos, and one is just come out now that I'm watching, called Time to Talk About the Laundry. And thank God she's armed to go do the laundry. Her words. But I'd get through most of each video and I'd kind of be like, oh, enough already. I mean, that was my overall arching theme for the week. Now, that's kind of a little unique for me. Now, I know it's not for most of you, because most of you, there's many of you I know who don't even watch her channel and come to find out what's going on from me, or you go to other reaction channels, which frankly I do sometimes, to find out what is the forum think of what's going on here. But even this week I was having a hard time getting beyond so many minutes. I would watch a few, skip ahead, watch 5 more, skip ahead, except for the ASMRs, as they are. So we'll just pick up where we left off. Last week, as usual, there was a bit of, drama and the like. Mark weighed in on that. And where I'm going to be picking up is with one of many fan mail packages that she received this week. I did this in the spirit of Chantal, Foodie Beauty, by the way. I went through each video individually this week because there wasn't too many, and I want us to get reacquainted, of course, after I was gone for a week. So, Mega Care Package fan mail, and this is from Penny. And there was discussion whether Penny existed, but I think Penny does exist, apparently. And she's going through the package like a kid at Christmas, scrunching it and says, maybe, I don't know, maybe the apron I was hinting about. She totally knows hinting. We call it e-begging. She calls it hinting. A horse by any other name. A rose by any other name. Why did I say a horse? Well, that's not nice. So the package she gets also is from Sherwood. It says, open it right away. And it's cookies, soy sauce, cakes, cereal. You think she never saw food before. Now, I get being excited for getting a gift. We got some cheesecake the other day, and I had some, and it's delicious. And it was a gift from a viewer, from a friend. So we were happy to show that off, and I can tell you we ate it, and that it was great. She has a different way of displaying her excitement at things that are given to her, also. We'll just say different. She then talks about paper towels, because that was one of the gifts that was given to her as well, and how in the time of COVID, there's paper goods are just so strained. Cynthia has an idea of what's going on as though everything is still like 3 to 4 months ago. There's things tight in my supermarket locally, but I can get paper towels. For whatever reason, they're low on rice where I live. Who knew? But you could still get a lot of those things. And this comes up later when she talks about the state of Manhattan, as though it's like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So she gets all these things, and she looks at this food like she's never seen food before, and she's, sickening in the not fabulous way of being sickening when she does it. But if that's her over-the-top, saccharine sweet kind of display of gratitude, then I guess. But whatever. Next was Real Housewives of New York, Season 12, Episode 17. Who cares? I mean, if you're a fan of that show and of hers, it's match made in heaven, but not for me. Then we get into OnlyFans. Now, there was no content over the weekend because Mrs. Beaumont, excuse me, was going to go on OnlyFans, which is more well known as an adults-only site. It's not adults-only, but primarily there's folks that go on there to do things with a monthly fee, or no monthly fee, that you can do that you can't do on other media. So she has an account there, and she's going to be releasing, and this weekend was, I guess, the test pilot for some exclusive content that wasn't going to make it to YouTube. Her rationale was that her YouTube content on the weekend wasn't making much money. So instead of letting that content be poorly viewed, she was going to charge people to watch it. So let's take something people don't even want for free and sell it to them. But, you know, apparently she has 6 to 10 to 12, 15 people on there. So, I mean, I guess that's good, I suppose. So that was what was going on. The only clickbaity thing that I heard went on in there is that there were signs left around the building. I guess she teased it on Facebook. And what did they say? And I think people were flashing back to the Cynthia Beaumont is a bigot, racist sign. The signs were about her not having hot water in her building for a couple days. That's so anticlimactic. So anticlimactic. But she said it was going to be... She wanted her OnlyFans, and this is the horse shit she shovels. She says she wanted her OnlyFans to be a place of positivity and no negativity. In the description, it's a place that she talks about it to be... It's somewhere she can go and talk shit and say the things she can't say on YouTube. Because she thinks she's protected there, and she thinks things are copyright protected there, and she thinks that free speech, the First Amendment, hate speech, shouting fire in a crowded theater, like, all of that doesn't apply because it's $5 a month. All of that still applies. It's still America, even though it's, like, I don't know. At any rate. So, this sell for OnlyFans is 17 cents a day. And Cynthia frames it, it was like a Sally Struthers feed the children thing. For 17 cents a day, soft music, you can help feed Cynthia Beaumont, So, Cynthia on coronavirus. Some thoughts. Okay. We're all used to having everything now. Now. As far as a vaccine, as far as healthcare, as long as reopening and moving on. We all know Cynthia is kind of a germaphobe, which stands in contrast to the whole Corona's over, let's get back outside. I mean, it stands in contrast to a lot of the popular themes that go with the media she says she consumes. So it's very interesting that she carries that belief with it. But we're all individuals, and we all, not everything is always so black and white, red and blue state, Democrat, Republican. Some things are a little more blurry. But she did say maybe in 7 years, New York will be back, because I think she thinks it was, like I said, absolutely destroyed during, has she been there? No, she hasn't. So I was worried. So I went on the New York Times page, because maybe Cynthia saw something I didn't. Maybe New York City is in shambles. If a city was so destroyed, one of the biggest cities in the world, was destroyed to the point where it would take 7 years to rebuild, don't you think that would be front page news? Maybe in the New York Times even? Okay, so I look. Steve Bannon charged with fraud in Build the Wall campaign. According to authorities, he hatched a plan with 3 other men to defraud people who donated money to build a border wall. Now, they're just as dumb as anybody who sends dollars. I'm not going to say that, never mind. Those are generous people. These aren't generous people. These are idiots, and they were defrauded. It's still a crime to defraud stupid people, though. So I thought, well, maybe it's fake news, New York Times. Let me check CNN. Oh, they're fake news too. Let me go to Fox. No headlines about New York collapsing. Let me go to Breitbart. Maybe there's something there. And it was something about QAnon. It had nothing to do with anything. So she exaggerates, and she'll take a little bitty thing and explode it. She talked about how at 9/11 now they're not going to be having a light display. And she said the light display isn't going to be there because, tourists would come into it, and there's no tourists coming because the city's been destroyed, so they're not going to have the lights up. Do you know how many people died? New York could afford it if they want to afford it. There's probably other things kind of going on there. But Cynthia's world is about this big. Well, it's about as big as a window, and then it's whatever media she consumes. So, and I mean, that's a lot of us. I don't want to point fingers at Cynthia Beaumont and say all she gets is the media she consumes. I don't think she gets a lot of diverse stuff. I don't think there's a lot of discussions. Granted, Mark and I go back and forth and it's kind of an echo chamber, but we do disagree on some stuff. So at least there's a little discourse. I have family members too. And other people that I don't always agree with. So Cynthia's not big on debate and discussion. It's more like, these are my views and my opinions based on nothing. And if you present facts to me, those are just more opinions. Facts, we're in a post-truth world, apparently, and Cynthia's rolling around in it. So, this is a time where people like her can really shine. Another reason. Cops aren't allowed to be cops anymore. Hence, New York's collapse. She said she used to like living near New York. Doesn't want to anymore. She said, men are walking around naked. Didn't she go for footage with the naked cowboy? Like, I'm pretty sure the guy in a Speedo with the hat and the guitar, like, none of this is New York City. None of this is news. None of this is news. They were putting homeless people in hotels. They were doing this in other countries too, because all these empty beds, all these homeless people, contagion among people without permanent housing. How do you isolate at home when home is a corner? So, like the idea or not, it was something some people were doing. She says, yeah, but they're putting rapists and criminals in hotels. So, let's paint a broad stroke across people who don't have permanent housing. Rapists and criminals. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cynthia does that kind of thing that bigoted white people do. She'll say something that's like a big dog whistle, and then right to the end of it goes, I mean, come on, you know what I mean. White people do that to each other when they want to leave out the racist part. When they want to say, it's all black people, you know what I mean. Or it's, you know what kind of people I mean. If you put them on blast and say, no, what do you mean? They get agitated because you want them to say that shit out loud. But, again, that's her journey. That's her journey. So then, Rain ASMR. Rain is God's content, not ours. Okay? Okay? Nevertheless, it only got 300 views. When someone said to her, and she said later, you're not an ASMR or ASMR, correct? I don't know. Channel. And she was like, well, I could do what I want. There's no laws. There's no laws against anything anymore. Big drama. No, there's not. We can all put out whatever kind of content we want. She's 100% right. But it shouldn't be a surprise when it only pulls in about 300 views, because she's not known for that. There's not a lot of people that are. I don't think I've ever deliberately done an ASMR video myself. I don't know that I would. Next, Dollar Tree DIY and story time. This was almost 50 minutes long. So she's painted some dumb shit, and she starts to tell a story. Now, this resonated with me. Every so often, people's is people's, and you have a connecting story. Cynthia tells a story about being in 6th or 7th grade. And I don't know if she went, I thought she said she might have gone to a Catholic school, but I don't know if it's a public school. Doesn't really matter. The teacher, for the young women in the class, passed around, Cynthia called it propaganda. You very well could. With some pro-life / anti-abortion photography on it. I mean, some of you may have seen them. They're the more graphic images that are shown sometimes at anti-abortion, pro-life rallies. More shocking ones, certainly to show to a 6th grader. And these were passed around, according to Cynthia, to all the girls, then taken back by the teacher and said, remember this. And I remember, to anyone else, that might sound like she's making shit up. I can tell you, when I was in 7th grade, so however old that is, our theology teacher, who was a layperson, not a priest or a nun, showed us a video of an abortion, of terminating a pregnancy. And I don't just mean the ultrasound with the devices coming in. I mean, it was the full, okay? And we didn't learn about sex ed until 2 years later. 2 years later. So I didn't know how conception happened, but I knew this was wrong. And you know who taught sex ed? Not the biology teacher, the priest. So things that Cynthia described in this, some of it's unbelievable, some of it's for dramatics. I've had something similar happen to me, and I thought it was wrong too. So, Cynthia hates me and wishes me dead, but I agree with her. Not cool. She also thinks that she knows most about homeschooling and bullying and stuff, and she was bullied to shit, you can tell. So, I can see why homeschooling might have maybe been a better option for her if she had the discipline. The technology probably wasn't there at the time. I'm not sure how that would have worked, but... Next, Progresso Minestrone Mukbang. This may be ASMR. Okay, the bowl's here. Let's see if we can recreate this without me disgusting you. Okay, the bowl's here. She's about here. Not cool. Not cool. Not cool. Even Foodie Beauty, my girl, Chantal Marie, doesn't eat that close to the camera. She does not. She may make some more noises, but she doesn't eat that close to the camera. And she's making bank off her mukbangs, so people should take some notes. Again, Cynthia, laws don't matter in the new America. Whatever. She lost her pepper. Hear that, guys? Pepper. Put it on the list. She wishes there was less salt in her soup between slurps. And with all our modern technology, you think that they could make soup with less salt. Of all the things we're facing as a nation, as a globe, in the world at the moment, all of our best minds and technology should be geared towards less salty soup. You can make your own soup. She had a great recipe for chicken soup. Yes, Cynthia, I was a fan. And you'd done it in your, was it slow cooker, maybe? It wasn't the oyster. Something else. Anyway, it looked really good. So, you know how to make soup. And you know it goes further than cans. Next, Ray ASMR again. Still on the topic of the other one, I'm sorry. Back is agonizing. The cat threw up in her bed this morning at 6:30. She was doing a day in the life. So she gets to talking about, this is something I had mentioned before. Commenters, which I guess I would be, maybe a cockroach, not sure, making silly comments. And one of the silly comments would be, stop looking at yourself when you're talking. Now, she said, of course jokingly, well, how should I be talking like this? This is the difference. When I'm talking like this, I'm looking at myself. I'm looking at my expressions. It looks to me like I'm looking at me in a mirror, because I see my face moving. When I'm looking at you, see, the camera's over here. So when I'm talking over here, we're having a discussion. When I'm talking over here, I'm watching myself talk to see how good I look, to see if I'm convincing, to see if you're buying it. So therein lies the difference. But, I mean, okay, when I first started doing them, it's easy to understand looking this way. And I stare this direction for no reason. You'd think there was cue cards on the wall. So I'm not saying this is my shtick. And when I first started filming, I used to look at myself and not over there. But she's been doing this for a decade. I don't know. I notice it when other YouTubers do it. Sometimes it feels insincere. I don't know. It's a very, very little thing, and some people probably don't notice it and don't care, but especially for, like, small vlogs, like, if you're performing, or if you got 1 million people, I don't know. I think even Brad Mondo looks at the camera. But, at any rate. So, and then, what was the other issue? Complaints about people being upset about not having power. Big power outages, New Jersey, New York. A storm whipped through, people didn't have power for a long time, and then there were some more issues with it. And she was upset that people were upset, because it's just going to take as long as it's going to take, and it was these people out in the country, but they had generators, so they shouldn't be complaining. Cynthia's water was going to be off for 2 days, and you think that there should have been alerts sent out, like Amber Alerts on people's phones, so that people were aware of what was going on. Allure August unboxing. They're going from $15 to $23. Get it in, folks. Beauty box. Full of junk. But it's a nice treat because I can't afford anything full price anymore. Number 9. We could have all been killed. Bad neighbors. This is a 35-minute video. Basically, one of her neighbors upstairs left something on the stove. Cynthia burned herself in an unrelated incident and has Vaseline on her arm. She burned herself on the handle of a pan, I guess she was using. She put on a Band-Aid and she thinks she's having allergic reaction to the Band-Aids. I swear, Cynthia, when she was with Tommy, and this is prior to Tommy being sick, she would go to doctors constantly. She said she has a disability. I'm guessing she's pointing to her back for that, because that seems to give her the most problems. But she would see a doctor for something different, like every day of the week. Something. Had a toe infection, or the TMJ, or she dropped some soda and pulled her wrist, or, you know, something hurts, back pain, kidney stones, bladder infection, diverticulitis, always something. I don't know. I guess when you don't have anything else to do, being sick breaks it up a little bit, but I don't know. Next one, Bad Boys. It's a short of the cats, narrated by Alexa. 11, Coffee Talk and Burn update, because everyone wants to hear about her arm. It's wrapped too tight in gauze. It looks like it hurts. It looks like it might have cut off the circulation. But it's not burned down to, like, the bone. I mean, it's a burn. It looks like it hurts, and burns hurt. I know, but... And then she put some Benadine on it, that yellow stuff. When I saw the Benadine and the bandage, okay, you all know I used to drink a little bit, right? I went and sold my plasma a few times, okay? And when you go to sell your plasma, it's like, just the kind of folks you think are there selling their plasma are there. Every stereotype you can imagine, you're probably right. So I'm sitting there, and I have thin veins, which kept collapsing, and they basically said, and of course I was very heavy at the time, so they want like a liter of plasma, which takes an hour or two to get out of me because I was dehydrated, because I was a drunk. And when you would leave, I would be covered in both arms because my veins would pop on one side and they'd have to switch and try to spin it out on the other. I'd be covered in Benadine and covered in bandages and going into the liquor store. It was so... ugh. Benadine reminds me of that. That and surgery. I'm surprised she didn't crack it open for Tommy. I would think around the tube area, maybe it would have needed something. But I guess that's all water under the bridge now. Let's see. Then she talked about cats, video games, the usual. Next video, stuff I buy from Amazon, in which Cynthia delineates here. She buys herself things, and then other people buy her things. So they are two separate things, not the same. The clips in the ponytail can work, but she looks like, I don't know, broke down prom queen as far as the hair goes in this, because the ponytail's like over here and the clips are here. She can do what she likes with her hair. I'm not that guy that she looks ugly, her hair looks funny. She's looked better. She's done better by herself with her hair in those clips than she did in that video. I'll say that. I don't know if she's as happy as she could be with that. But at any rate, 4 canisters of popcorn salt, cat food, catnip, and by the way, still, the voice she uses when she speaks to the cat, I mean, it could be played at full volume to disperse crowds, you know, like Woodstock, like that kind of thing. Next, let's see, fan mail. A box of everything. It's from Rachel and Eve in Australia. Same shirt, so I think she just sat through and just filmed a few in a row. Food, ramen, candy. Lots of candy. And this is the real kick in the teeth to people that she tries to gaslight, and she says, I'm not begging for anything, I never do anything. Quote, didn't I just say recently how much I love chocolate-covered orange candies? Which she got in this thing. That's so wild. Bitch, please. Like it's a mystery. Like, oh, I can't believe it. I just mentioned that I like them, and they showed up. That's... ugh, God. Anyway, so... she said thank you for the food, though. It's given her some work to do. She got pretty emotional at the end of this. I don't know if they were fake tears, real tears, because I was, like, dipping in and out. But it sounded like crying. It's given her some work to do. She doesn't know what to do with making videos. It's very hard. This will give her stuff to eat and film, which I guess is content. Mukbang-wise, I suppose. And she says, Eve, your mommy is a good person. Give it 2 weeks, should she decide to comment on another person's video. And it'd be, bye, bitch, you're blocked. We'll see. We'll see. Fan mail and a story time. So... she, again, is crying. This is like the end of one video, the beginning of another. So she's filming a series in a row, and she's still not... she didn't pull herself together or make an effort to for the beginning of this. And she doesn't have to. If she's sad, she can be sad in film. That's okay. Hard to go on sometimes. And she said she got a letter, but it's only going to be from one person anymore because somebody else went to the other side. I guess that means the dark side? I don't know. Are we talking about the Force? HelloFresh never wanted her to advertise. She was talking about people on TikTok who do HelloFresh, and she said HelloFresh never wanted her. She didn't follow the recipes. She was a high-end user. She used the product a lot, and she actually referred a lot of people to it too. I mean, she can hustle when she wants to hustle, but she wasn't using the product the way that they want the product to be used. It had nothing to do with where she lived or the size of her apartment. You can make gourmet meals on a cheap 4-burner stove in a studio apartment in New Jersey. That's got an angle to it. That could be cool. But not if you leave all the ingredients out and just essentially boil the pork chops. I mean, that's not what HelloFresh should probably be looking for, my guess. But it has nothing to do with the situation she was in, or not having a car, not having a house. People in different situations, probably more dire, have hit it on YouTube and on social media. So, but no, I'm not surprised when you leave out half the ingredients HelloFresh provides that HelloFresh doesn't want to promote you. I don't think so. There was a pair of sweatpants that were that said ramen on them. They were like a package of ramen. They were a 5X and they were too small, but it was in some East Asian size, which I know they run small. So she said that she called them goal pants. I like the way she framed that. Goal pants. It's a good idea. And then this last one, time to talk about dirty laundry. So she said that the comments now have to slow down. Comments have to slow down because she's doing all of them manually. She can't go in. This is another thing where she's blaming YouTube rules, channel settings, everything, saying it only looks like people don't like my channel. It only looks like views are down. It only looks like more people are following the people that don't like me. It only seems that, like, I don't know. YouTube is all numbers. It's all algorithms. It's all numbers. It's all how much of your video people watched, how many times they clicked on it, how long of the ad they did. I mean, that's how YouTube works. And numbers don't lie. People lie. You know, Dr. Nowzardin on 600-Pound Life would say as much. You know, the scale doesn't lie. People lie. So she's going on saying that she has certain words isolated out to not appear in the comments. You know, probably like the F word. I'm guessing menopause. I think she used that word because she was getting lambasted with, like, I don't know. I'll just say insults because that's kind of a private thing. And she didn't want that. So she took that out. But she's manually approving them. So you're not seeing them go up and then people screenshotting them or whatever, and then they come down. Because sometimes Cynthia would leave them up for a little too long. Or people would, like, go in the middle of the night when the comments were made and record them there. So she also said that there's no alerts going out anymore for her videos, and that could be why viewership's down. Well, there's no email alerts, as far as I know, but I still get alerts when videos are going on. I get alerts when everyone I watch is still going on. So I don't understand that end of things. And then last week, I know she was blaming bad algorithms and that YouTube were screwing her. Sorry, everybody. It's getting hot, and I'm getting over this really, really fast. I've tried to end this video like 6 times, and what I can't find is a way to wrap it up. What is the takeaway? What is the lesson here? Maybe there's a lesson in this for all of us who tend to be a little dramatic, and I'll throw myself in there. I can be a little grand. I have my moments. To just take it down a notch. We're in a very high stress, high alert time for a lot of people, whether it's from social unrest, politics, disease, famine, unemployment, concerns about child raising, concerns about going back to work, the global economy. There's so many things going on. And to just try to keep our lives in perspective and to keep our own troubles in perspective. You know, somebody had said to me once, I was at a 12-step meeting or something like 1,000 years ago, and someone said, if everybody had sat at the table and put their troubles out in front of them and looked at everybody else's, they'd grab their own and take them back. Because we always, you know, there's people who get into a rut of thinking of, I have it harder than everybody else, and then you hear somebody else's story and you go, never mind, I'm selfish. never mind, I'm fine. So, just to that end, to have things in a little more perspective, that no, Cynthia is not being the victim of fake news and a perpetrated plot to have people come get her, because if she really thought she was, she wouldn't publish her home address on YouTube. And if she can't reconcile one with the other, then I don't know what to tell you. So, So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the like button and bell on your way out so you get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. On Twitter, our handle is at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and our contact information is all listed down below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. Have a good Thursday. Bye.